Avengers Infinity War Endgame portrays the clash between two different approaches to making moral decisions. One approach is called utilitarianism, and it believes that morally justified or ethical decisions are those where the right thing to do is to bring about the best consequences, where, of course, best consequences means for all those affected by our choice, the greatest possible net increase in happiness occurs over suffering. Well, Avengers Infinity War and Endgame goes out of its way to portray Thanos as representing the outcome of utilitarian doctrines. See, Thanos believes that Gamora's planet needs saving, even though Gamora said it was happy, because the skies weren't clear and because there wasn't necessarily enough food for everyone. Thanos also defines happiness based on some established scientific evidence, some established criteria, and like what he's come up with is the number of available resources, the amount of food that is available for people to eat. He also has got some scientific evidence based on other planets that he's ravaged. Thanos is the ultimate utilitarian in another way because he believes that those who are living don't get extra credence, they don't get extra value compared to those who are yet to live. In other words, murder is justified if more lives are saved in the long run, and those who are living are not extra consideration compared to those who are going to be living. Thanos is also portrayed in Infinity War Endgame as being very consistent with his beliefs. See, he's not actually a cold-blooded killer, and in that sense he's a complex villain. See, he's consistent, and Infinity War Endgame goes out of its way to portray Thanos as a consistent to his utilitarian beliefs. He doesn't murder without purpose. He kills Gamora to obtain the Soul Stone, and he cries about it. He kills Vision to gain the Mind Stone, but that's why he kills him, is he needs that stone. He's willing to kill Doctor Strange. Why? To get the Time Stone. But he actually leaves most of the characters that he fights with, he just incapacitates them, but he doesn't actually kill them. Eventually, when he does murder half the universe, he just dusts them out of existence. There's no pain involved. So he's a complex vision. And we see that his decision kind of works. In Endgame, Captain America is talking, and he shares how he saw a pod of whales when he's coming over the bridge. He's like, hey, there's some measure of good that's coming out of all this. Now, utilitarian doctrines raise a number of questions that are brought up through Infinity War and Endgame. For example, some of these questions are, can we rightly predict the future? And how well exactly can we do such a thing? Who determines what defines happiness? Full bellies? Really? How can murder in the present be justified by the possible outcome in the future? In other words, how can you murder people now assuming you're going to save more people in the future? Here's another question. Doesn't the will of a few, isn't that getting imposed on everyone? I mean, what about all the numbers who don't agree with your decisions, right? Here's another question. How is balance achieved, and over what time frame? Thanos is into this idea of balance, but over what time frame? How do you know the balance will continue? Now, another approach to moral decision making is called deontology. Deontologists believe it's an ethical philosophy that believes that ethical behavior starts with an established and defined duty. An act is morally justified if it adheres to duty. The ends, no matter how good, can't justify a heinous decision. The rights of the individual matter above anything, regardless of the outcome. So utilitarians, they rate their ethical decisions by asking what's good for the whole, for the community. Deontologists determine what's ethical by asking what is right as an individual. So deontology values every human being as an end in themselves, a basic moral unit that's due basic moral considerations. They're not a means to an end. They're not a means to some better outcome. Now, Captain America, he fights for what he believes is this type of moral code. The rights of the individual matter regardless of the outcome. So in this sense, Captain America is portrayed as the ideal deontological hero. He's willing to sacrifice himself to a grenade, not weighing the end result. He's not even waiting to weigh the end result. He's willing to sacrifice himself because it's inherently the right thing to do. When it comes to vision, they have this big dilemma. If they could just destroy the Mind Stone, they could save half the universe. But Captain America makes it clear, we don't trade lives. It's a matter of duty. We don't trade lives. So he's willing to gamble half the universe upon his deontological beliefs. What's interesting is that Infinity War is a masterful way of presenting the evidence. Infinity War ends actually with a catastrophe. Captain America's deontology is proven to be ineffective because Vision is still killed, and as a result of Captain America's decisions, half the universe is now gone. But that's what we experience. We experience an, oh my goodness, this is not the way it's supposed to be. The big bad utilitarian is winning. Bad utilitarian, bad boy. And so Infinity War sets us up with this sense of moral disappointment. And inherently we know that there's something wrong with this utilitarian view. It's masterful how we recognize that. We don't say, all right, yay, Thanos is right, and we're seeing it lived out. Instead, we realize there's something wrong. And so there's a craftiness to the way that Infinity War ends. And then you have Endgame, and what's interesting is we have Iron Man as the superhero who starts out as a utilitarian, and through the progress of all these various movies of the MCU, ends up becoming a deontologist, as a matter of fact. So he starts out, early on, he's Iron Man, and he's known for, he says, I am Iron Man, because of the ability to make the right decision based on the outcome, what needed to happen. The Sokovia Accords, there's this whole civil war that happens, and the idea is that he stands for the fact that he believes there'll be more opportunity for the future, for the superheroes in the future, if they will practically make the necessary decisions now. See, that's a utilitarian view. But he moves through the movie to becoming more and more of a deontologist. And in the end, we see he ultimately does what's right out of a sense of duty. Thanos says, I'm inevitable. And Iron Man finishes with, I am Iron Man. And but it wasn't out of a sense of duty. It was out of a sense of doing the right thing. And we see that because Pepper Potts affirms this. She ends with, you can rest now. It's almost like his transformation is complete. He's no longer utilitarian. He understands there's something much more than just practicality that's on the line. And he's made the right decision. And ultimately, that ends this utilitarian threat on the universe. So Infinity War Endgame is an epic tale. It speaks effectively to an entire culture about a great cultural theme, and it makes a strong point in the best way you could possibly use. As a matter of fact, I think Infinity War Endgame would be the best way to bring out utilitarian doctrines and the questions that come, and also to bring out how inherently we love deontology. That's what superheroes are known for. There's a reason we love superheroes.